I knew it because he's on the side. He won't be that big.
Gotta cut the pig.
Hi guys. How are you? How are you? My name is Stephanie and it's my first year being a college counselor at the high school that I graduated from, so it's really interesting to be on the other side of things. And I made this presentation for you not to overwhelm you, but to let you know that no matter wherever you are, you're on your own timing, and like, forgive yourself if you feel like you haven't put in time. What matters is right now, and you know, making sure that you put in the effort these next couple of months, because it is going to be hard. It's remote and this has never ever been like this, so we understand that you guys are going through more adversities, and just put your part. The universe is going to reward you in the end, okay? So these are just some student expectations that I give to my students, and I want to give to you, just so that I feel that I prepared you to really advocate for yourself, because unfortunately sometimes nobody teaches you that it's okay to tell like your counselor, hey, I need your help, hey, I need this, and this. It's okay to reach out. Sometimes it's hard to do that. And sometimes we're prideful and we try to figure it out on our own, but definitely utilize your resources. That's how you succeed, by using everything that's available and doing what you have to do. So make sure you meet your counselor halfway. Be open about it. I know you guys are open because you guys are athletes, so you're definitely putting yourself out there. Anything that makes you feel scared is worth it. Always choose the harder route. You know what I mean? It's more rewarding in the end. Make sure you ask questions, hold yourself accountable, trust the process, check your emails. Your emails are your new text messages. I was actually making a joke with Freddie earlier, and I told him I was going to make you guys take out your phones and look at your screen time and tell me if anything surprised you. I don't want to make you guys do that, but just by thinking about that, do you think that you have time in your week to make sure it's working your future self? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I put these two funny memes. My analysis shows that you are awesome because you're here, and already you're showing up to your future self by being here. And then don't worry, you got this. So at first, my timeline was extremely rigid. Like, I wanted all my students to apply to CUNY by October 19th. But then I realized, like, we're doing everything remotely. We're doing everything from a computer screen. You guys have different roles. Athletes, students are employed, students have siblings that they have to be the tutors for during remote. But I want to be realistic with you, because at the end of the day, the sooner you submit your CUNY, your college applications, the higher the chance that special programs will reach out to you. You know what I mean? The sooner you do things, the better. You never want to leave things for last minute. You want to make sure you have deadlines that you're making smart goals towards and accomplishing it. So by the first week of November, you should have like a finalized CUNY list if you're applying to CUNY. To be honest, I wanted people to have that by the end of October, but I don't know where you guys are at. And even in my school, like, tons of students are still in the researching process. For me, I would just feel good if you apply to a school and you have more than 4 reasons why you want to apply there. So something that I always say is, the first reason is, why are you going to college? Like, what's the purpose? What's the one thing that you want to get out of that? Can anyone answer me? What's the reason that you're going ultimately? I know you guys are athletes, but what's the reason you're going?
To get a job.
To get a job, right? To get a degree, to pursue a career. So something that I like to do in the researching process, I know some of you guys, since you're doing your FAFSA, you have maybe already applied or picked your schools, but you want to make sure that they have more than one thing that you're interested in. And you have to know that no matter what your interest is, whether it's animation, whether it's creating video games, making music, the nursing field, construction management. No matter what your interest is, you can find a major that can get you there and that can teach you those skills. But it's about exploring those interests and making time to get to know yourself, because that's the only way you're going to know. Sometimes we say, oh yeah, I like this. Have you ever tried it? No. And then when you try it, you're like, wow. So you want to make sure that you have several interests that you would be able to pursue at the college that you go to. By November 10th, I'm so happy that you guys already started your FSA ID, and if you haven't, it's okay. You're starting it today. But as you know, the FAFSA application actually opened October 1st. But honestly, people, I shouldn't tell you this. I'm going to tell you because I'm a transparent person. But you can fill out the FAFSA in June. But are we going to fill it out in June? No. We want to fill it out in the beginning, because if you fill it out in the beginning, it gives you higher chances of getting aid. And even in the circumstances that we're living in with everything that happened during this pandemic, now more than ever, you want to make sure that you fill out these, free application for federal student aid. So, and I'll help you guys with that as well when I get through the presentations. By November 13th, your SUNY list should be finalized, and basically the part 1 of your SUNY application should be submitted before Thanksgiving, by November 23rd. And this is so important because and I'm going to get into it in the following slides, but if you're eligible for special programs based on your income, they have a part 2 to their application. And then all college applications must be submitted by December 15th. Common application and applications to all other colleges should be, discussed on an individual basis. Always make time to go to workshops, but make time for that one-on-one time with your counselor and hold them accountable. Reach out to them, tell them, hey, I need help. You have a question? They have an email, use it. Because when you're in college, this is a skill that you need to have. Like, for example, in my school, a student will be 1 out of 400, but in college, guess what the amount of a small college, guess how many students are in a small college? How many do you think?
1,000.
No, the minimum is 2,000. And for, let's say if you go to a medium-sized school, how many students do you think can be there? 15,000. And then for a large school, more than 15,000. So me telling you this now, make sure you email your counselor, make sure you email your teachers. Whenever you have a question, get yourself in the habit of writing a formal email. Of saying, greetings, miss. I need your help with this, and that. Thank you for your time and consideration in advance. I hope to hear from you soon. Sign your name. You want to get used to that formal communication, because basically that's texting. That's professional texting. And you want to be in communication with your resources, because your resources are going to help you get to where you need to in a swift manner. So, requesting tax forms, this is more for the parents. The reason why we need this is for college planning, to determine eligibility for special programs such as Education Opportunity Program, HEOP, which is the same thing but for private colleges, and basically on your income, this will determine if you will get an advisor. Regardless, even if you're not eligible for these programs, you will get that, but it's different when you get accepted into a program like that, and it's part of your college process. Meeting monthly with a college advisor. They give you money for textbooks. If you stay in the city, they give you a Metro card, but you do have to follow up with your meetings and everything. So this is the tax form. You guys started your FAFSA. Did you guys give this to your college counselor already?
My situation was complicated, but I figured it out.
Okay. And we could talk more about that. How about you guys? No? Hi, how are you? Thank you for coming. You came at a perfect time, so I'll speak about this page again. But basically I was saying, is she a junior or senior? Senior? Oh, okay. So basically, I was saying that as a parent, you need to submit the 1040 tax form of 2019 to determine eligibility in special programs. And this is huge because it literally changes. It sucks that they do it this way, but it changes the admission requirements that you need to get into a school, and I'll show you. Like literally, for example, if you need an 89 to get into a school, it could change to an 81 based on the income.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
The income, the annual income may change because some lottery winning, would that affect it? Like the annual income may be higher because certain winning from the lottery, even though the next year you may not get that same winning, so would that affect it?
Honestly, they do ask for 2019.
Well, including the lottery winning.
Whatever pops up in your income tax return. I would have to see your income tax return to give you a better answer. Okay, cool. So we'll speak about that one on one. Because even like she said, her situation, starting to assume, I don't know what everybody's pronouns are, but your situation you said was different, right? Yeah. So it, like that's what I meant in the slide before when I said that you need to meet with your counselor one-on-one because everyone's finances are different. Some people, they get their income from the Social Security. So that's what they would be showing. Some people don't file taxes, so then they have to do the non-filing tax requirement. But this is basically the general information because most people do fill out the 1040 tax return every year. And then this is what I was talking about. So depending on those tax forms and the income that's there, and I'll just show you. Let's see. Or can you guys see the numbers a little bit? Or they're too little? Well, I'll give you. So for example, for Brooklyn College, you need an 89 to get into general admission. But to get into the special programs, you only need an 81. So in order to help your counselor help you, give you the best support, and help you pick out schools that are basically safety, target, and reach. With safety schools, there's more than a 50% chance that you're going to get in. With target schools, it's a 50-50 chance that you'll get in. And with reach schools, it's a less than 50% chance. However, you should still apply. When I help a student, I always make sure they have reach schools, target schools, and safety schools. Because you want to make sure that you don't limit yourself. You shouldn't just play it safe because there are other factors in your application that are going to make you stand out. These other factors are things that you have done, your extracurricular activities. And literally when I say extracurricular activities, I mean extra. Anything that you did outside of school. So for example, if you have family duties and you have a sibling, you could talk about taking care of your sibling, tutoring them, feeding them, or even you could describe your house duties and your weekly chores. They just want to know what you do in your free time. They even have like a hobby section where, like, for example, if you're teaching yourself a skill on your own, and you're taking, you know how a lot of places and organizations are offering like free courses and just like events you can attend. If you attend an event, if you had an online internship, if you ever did community service in your neighborhood, your sport that you guys have been in for so long, anything that you do outside of school, outside of your homework and outside of the classes that you're taking are stuff that will make you stand out. It's just you need to know how to show off yourself. So for example, in these applications, you're writing resume bullet points. You're gonna start with an action verb, a statement, and why you did it. So for example, even if you're just saying that you're taking care of your siblings, you're gonna start off by saying like facilitated a safe environment by upholding, the rules and assisting in tutoring and feeding when necessary. You see how much more, doesn't that sound like it's true and it's real, but it takes time. Not everybody does that. Anything that you do outside of school counts. I went off on a rant, and your college essay as well. Your college essay, we'll get into that later. This is the SUNY admission profile, so this is basically the same thing that I was showing you. Unfortunately, CUNY, I'm sorry guys. I don't know why I went here. So unfortunately, like CUNY, it puts it side to side, but SUNY doesn't do that. They literally have separate ones. So I'll just show you. This is the general admission profile for SUNY, and basically that would be if you don't fit the financial brackets, and I'll show you the slide before. I know this is a lot of information, but I'm giving you this information so that you're able to like understand the process more and understand why you're looking at a specific side. So for example, this is for general admission. To get into Albany, you need an 89 to a 95. But if you're eligible for the special program, to get into Albany, you only need an 84 to a 90. Did you just see how it went from needing a 95 to needing an 84? That's a 10-point difference, and that's a huge game changer for everyone. That's why making sure that you give in these taxes as soon as possible is literally your first step in the college application process. So even as a junior, if you want to get ahead, do that now. Make a meeting with your college counselor, because they're supposed to help juniors too, and let them know like, hey, like obviously they're prioritizing seniors, but hey, these are my tax returns. Am I eligible for special programs? And yeah, in the next page I'll show you the income requirements for 2021 to 2022. So for example, let's say that I live with my mom and my 2 siblings, and my mom is the one that supports me. I have 2 siblings, and I'm including myself and then just my mom, so 4 people. So in order for me to be eligible for these special programs under 4 people, my mom needs to make less than $48,470. So the requirement is different for everyone based on how many dependents are in the taxes, but this is how you will see if you're eligible for special programs. And it sucks that it's based off of income, because sometimes it's like a parent will be like 1,000 or 2,000. Sometimes they'll put you on a wait list, but it's the reality, and I'm just sharing this information. I do think it's unfair, but also I feel like these people also do need the help, but it sucks for like the people who are in between. There's stuff like the Excelsior scholarship, of course, that you can do, and you guys should be searching for scholarships on your own time. The way to maximize your college research in terms of scholarships is by being specific. So scholarships for female athletes, scholarships for Latinx student athletes, scholarships for women of color. You just have to be really specific, and you have to remember, we might just do the screen activity in the end to see how much time.
Yeah, no, I would like to do that.
Yeah, because even if you spend, this is what I tell my students, spend 5 minutes a day on one college that's on your college list. 5 minutes a day. Set a timer for 30 minutes. That's 6 colleges that you research for 30 minutes a day to really see and feel connected. Because if you're not connected to the colleges that you apply to, how are you going to feel when you get the acceptance? You want to take charge of your process, but like I said in the beginning, you have to hold yourself accountable, and you have to do your part. You have to make sure that you communicate. I know it's hard sometimes, but just letting your counselor know, like, hey, I have this question, this, can we meet? They're supposed to be scheduling those meetings with you as well, but remember, you have to meet them halfway. This keeps doing this. Okay. For recommendations, you guys play sports, so of course I want you to have your coaches, but something that is extremely important, especially this year, because SATs, for me, I love that SATs are not being taken into consideration in every school, because let's be honest, it's unfair that you need regents to graduate high school. Some people literally get test anxiety and don't perform at their best, and they might know the information, but they get nervous, and it's unfair. So this year, and hopefully next year, these recommendations, you have to make sure that you have 2 academic teachers from core subjects, and these core subjects are like math, any AP classes, English, science, social studies, and it's because they want to see what those teachers think of you, and about your journey as a student and your work ethic. So yeah. make sure you pick people you have a genuine connection with. If not, use one academic teacher and like a health teacher. Just because they're going to be representing you, and whoever you ask to write your recommendation, you want to make sure it's someone that can tell your journey, and you don't want to put the pressure on them to have to share the essay with you. So most of the time you want to waive your rights. And when I say waive your rights, that means that the teacher sends the recommendation to the college. They're not required to send it to you. They're doing you a favor, and you also have to ask them formally. You have to send them an email, and before you put them on your application and submit, they have to tell you yes, because they're literally doing you a favor. Writing a recommendation is not mandatory. I don't mean to say that mean, but it's just in the future, like, you want to make sure you build relationships with people, because these people can write you a recommendation in the future and represent you. You know what I mean? And then these are the different college essay and personal prompts. I'll just read one, but there's different ones. Some students have a background, identity, interest, or talent that is so meaningful, they believe their application would be incomplete without it. If this sounds like you, then please share your story. And they have different prompts. And honestly, your college essay is 250 words minimum and 650 words maximum. If you think about it, one paragraph can literally be like 200 words. So this is not something to overwhelm you and stuff. And then this was me getting more specific in terms of the financial documents that you will need to complete the FAFSA. So you need your parents' 2019 income taxes and W-2s. If your family receives public assistance, you need a budget letter, or if you receive Social Security benefits, you need the statement from 2019, and some student identification information, student's green card if student is a permanent resident, student's Social Security card, and passport or birth certificate, because it will ask you like specific question like, what's the number of your New York State ID, and you'll be able to provide it. And let's say if your parent is undocumented, do not create an FSA ID for them. Do not create an FSA ID. If you are undocumented or your parent is undocumented, just communicate it to your counselor as soon as possible so that they can give you the best support and the different resources, but you can still do FAFSA. And then, yeah, I guess this is where we were at with everyone in their computers creating an FSA ID. So basically there's free money, grants, TAP and Pell. I know if you live in Jersey, you can't do TAP, but you can apply for FAFSA.
Every girl has
From
New
the
York.
city.
I just live in Jersey now.
Oh, okay. That's why I said that, because that's what I told them. Like, who's from Jersey here?
I'm volunteering
different.
my lower level restaurant.
Oh, that's so nice. That's so nice. Yeah, that's why I'm like.
No, there's no
I'm
Jersey
never in
resident
Jersey.
here.
I know it sucks to tell them that, but you can't do the TAP if you're
Right.
from Jersey.
Everyone here is New York.
The max, yeah.
What about moving? If you move from one area to the other, how would it affect it? Like, you start this process, and then all of a sudden you move, for example, to New Jersey or something. Is it a problem? It's a problem.
The aid would change that year, but they always ask you for the tax return
The
for
year
1 year
before.
before. So the aid would change. Yeah.
So you'll continue with the one that you started with, but then you'll be in a different state.
Every year you have to complete the FAFSA and update the information. Yeah, every year. And students are usually considered dependents until the age of like 24, unless they file for being an independent student, and that requires like a whole separate process. It's different for everybody. That's why I said like those specific questions, that's why you need to have the one-on-one meeting, and it all starts with finances first. That's why I started speaking about finances. Finances is one of the most important factors of the college application process, since it affects so much, from like the GPA requirement to the special program eligibility.
But that would only be if you move from one state to another state. It won't affect if you're moving from New York City to New York upstate or something like that. You can still work with that.
For example, like if you move to California, you're not gonna be able to, even like you're gonna be for example, someone from Jersey, they're not going to be charged $5,000 tuition. They're going to be charged $10,000. They're going to be charged out-of-state tuition. So it's different.
Oh, so if you live in one state, you
So he basically, if we living in New York State, we're in the city now, and we move to, let's say like, upstate New York. As long as you're within New York State,
If you're in New York State,
Because-
you're fine.
it doesn't
because
change.
in high school, that affects it a lot. Like, you know, we're in Westchester, and she was going in the city to get to her sister. They wanted to charge me $1,000
That's crazy.
just for that. So what I did was I used my
An
older
address,
that I
yeah.
had that was
A lot of
still
people do that.
So I think with college, it's just in-state and out-of-state.
there. Right.
Yeah.
It
So
won't matter.
New York State is New York State,
Exactly.
and then out-of-state will be like if they want to go to Jersey. Some of these schools I have here, but I did the lower level after 8 schools for us. You don't have an out-of-state tuition, but I'll explain later with something that a coach from Penn State explained to her. There's another program for these schools if you're out of state to apply for before November 30th. And I mean, we'll cover that later when we do the softball part of it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
No, thank you. I appreciate you. We're almost done. I gave you guys my personal email. You guys can email me whenever.
you guys want
And-
to take a picture of that? 'Cause that's what we do now, right? We don't write. We
Like,
take pictures of the stuff now.
But I'm gonna share the presentation as well with the parents.
Right.
Well, I give it
I
to
have
you.
I have it on the email, so if you girls want, just email me or the parents email me, and then I can forward it to you guys.
I hope that was helpful. Was my presentation helpful? Okay, good. I know it was a lot of information.
Is
but
there anything you
it's
want her to
very
go over again? Because I know we're like a shy team, or who's where and what process where you would need help. You know, Sam, we're gonna start the whole process with you if you want now.
Yeah.
You could help her.
I could do
we
5-minute
can-
rotations.
Right, so we can do that. Did you do your whole FAFSA yet or no? So she's gonna need help. Sam, we maybe put them at the same table.
Yeah.
Lee, you did your FAFSA already, but what do you need help on? You just gonna wait till we go over some of these schools that are on the table, or?
Can I see your college essay? That's your voice in the application.
You see? So everyone's gonna need a little bit of help. So we get Sam and everyone over here. What if you girls want, if you want to get some food real quick or what? Or
We could take a break and
Yeah.
then do work. How about that? Actually, raise your hand if you have a college essay. Has anybody read over your college essay?
Yes, constantly.
Constantly?
Yeah, she has like so she has an IEP. So then she has her IEP counselor talks to her, they go over hers.
Good.
Then she has also her English teacher who has to do an essay and they go over it with her. So she's sitting there with 2 people. It's like,
Okay. Okay, but have you checked if all the schools you're interested in have extra questions?